Welcome to the Bright Ideas Podcast.
Hello, Anya. Thank you so much for coming and being on the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you here. So for the folks in my audience who maybe aren't familiar with you yet, let's start there. Who are you and what's your company do?
Yeah, so my name is Anya Skoda. I'm the founder and CEO of Happy Bond. And we make sure that your pets live a healthier life with nutrition that is based on science. I'm a biotech engineer. So I create science-backed nutrition to keep your dogs healthy and strengthen that special bond.
Wonderful. And my dog Dodger, his life is better off, I'm sure, because people like you exist in the world. So that's great. When did you start your business?
So we started to sell in the US in August 2019. So last year was our first year of full year of business.
Okay. And you started formulating, I think, for your Bulldog way back in 2017. Is that right?
Yes. So my background is in biotech engineering. I built cartilage in the lab for avoiding animal testing through 3D models to do drug testing on rheumatoid arthritis. And my Bulldog, Tony, was a passionate skateboarder. And he got arthritis in his shoulder. It sounds funny, but he was really good. So he got arthritis in his shoulder, and due to my background, I could formulate something that brought him back within a week. And that's our first SKU, the collagen formulation.
Okay. And so that SKU now because I know your sales have been growing very, very quickly. I think you told me that from the first quarter to the fourth quarter, you actually quadrupled your sales, closing in on somewhere in the mid six figures for the first year, which is a pretty decent first year for a company that doesn't have any investor funding or anything like that. Talk to me a little bit about like revenue breakdown. Is the one SKU still the bulk of the revenue, or have you managed to diversify it to more than one SKU?
So we started the whole journey with one SKU of that collagen, and now extended even that product line into 5 different SKUs because we adapted that to different age stages, from puppy, adult to senior, and even in different flavors and different sizes. But we also added some treats, some other great chew sticks with collagen. So we have right now 10 SKUs on the website, and expanding this year with another 10 SKUs.
Okay. And so the whole goal of this interview, of course, is to try and help other brand owners who are listening to ideally walk away from this interview with some, I like to call them golden nuggets, things that have worked well for you that perhaps they would be able to implement in their business. So let's talk a little bit about, first of all, revenue breakdown is between Amazon and your direct to consumer website. Roughly, what is the split of revenue?
So I would say we have around 70 to 80% on our DTC platform, and the rest is Amazon and some other online retail like petco.com and chewy.com.
Okay. When you launched the very first SKU, what can you tell us about that launch? What did you do to get traction?
So if you know the pet space a little bit, and especially the hip and joint market, that is very crowded, and a lot of people tried a lot of products that don't work with all the old science that is not really showing great results. We actually got Cesar Millan, formerly known as the Dog Whisperer, as our partner to endorse this product because he tried it and had great results with his dog. So I would say the first step was to gain that trust of the consumer so they would try it. And now we see the traction that they see it works. So you get the momentum that other people recommended, the reviews, seeing on Amazon, seeing on our website. That's very important that customer talk about their experience with the product.
So the audience, I'm sure, is scratching their head thinking, well, how on earth did you ever get Cesar Millan? Is that how you say his name? I've heard of him before. You didn't hear of him before? Or no, I have heard of him before. I just want to make sure I was pronouncing his name correctly. But how did you get, and you said formerly known as the Dog Whisperer, which begs another question, but let's get to the first one first. How on earth did you get connected with this man?
One of our advisors connected me to the management, and we persisted to get a meeting, and I actually just had him to try the product with his dog. And his dog at that point wasn't able to move. He was, or barely, he was on pain relief. He was 12 years old and was kind of sad to see. So he wanted to try something. And he said, well, I tried it all. I don't believe in it. It probably doesn't work, but I'll try it. And 2-3 weeks later, he called me, said, my dog is running, pain relief is off. That's it.
Wow.
Like, I would help you. And it's more that he put the word out to say that and stand for that product, saying that I use it, and he still uses it for all his dogs. He believes in that.
Wonderful.
Results.
So having a fantastic product, as might come as no surprise, has been core to the success of your marketing. Okay.
That's true. Yes.
So you got the product launched with some help from Caesar, but I'm sure there was more to it than that. What were some of the other marketing activities that have worked well for you? And maybe even talk about some of the mistakes that you've made too, because there's always good lessons in those mistakes.
Yes, that's true. Well, first of all, of course, everyone does paid media on Facebook, Instagram, and all these other channels. I would say last year was a challenging year because it was just different. We couldn't do the normal sales activity like events and connect with our customers that way. So we actually changed our strategy into getting in touch with our customers with content production. So we did a lot of IG lives, interviewed other pet people in this business that have products, that have insurances, dog TV, like everything about pets. We interviewed those people weekly and put that out there, and we got a lot of responses from our customer and to engage with us. So I think that was one really big achievement that we saw working. Not right away, like you always hear these stories about, oh, I did this, and then our sales went crazy. I think there's mostly a lot of money behind it, or it takes a little time to adapt. And I think we found that niche of content production and, of course, the right voice, the right copy on ads, the same on Amazon. It has to just resonate with the consumer.
It does. And the right words and the right messaging is absolutely critical to making that happen. So I do have some follow-on questions. So you'd mentioned Instagram Live. Was that something that worked quite well for you, or was it a marginal in terms of results?
I think it really worked well for us. It depends probably. I mean, I think the biggest success we had because we had our bulldog Fernando next to me, and many people just tuned in because of him. So that was maybe an advantage we had. It's always within the dog business, you have that advantage of having dogs with you. So that I think that was one point. But then also the science, we really figured out that many people just want to know what's behind this, like science, packaged in an easy way that you can understand. Many people want to know it's not only their dogs, it's themselves. So we did a lot of science session where I explained about amino acids. Why do your dog need that? Why do you need it? Why do you need collagen? What does it actually do in your body? And that really worked well. We had Caesar tuning in to some of those IG sessions as well, which brought us a much wider audience, of course. But I like that idea of educating in a nice way so the consumer can navigate in this space and trusts us. And when they trust us, they buy our products.
So I've never done an IG Live myself, and I'm sure many of the folks who are listening to this probably haven't either. So let's make sure that we give enough information so they understand how to do it. So the first challenge I would think is you've got to make sure you're going to get people to show up. So Caesar lended a hand in that, I'm sure. What else did you do to make sure that, you drove eyeballs so that when you did the live event on Instagram, that there was anybody watching it?
Yeah, I think you have to just not see who is joining or not, because you will record it and then share it on Instagram. And we resend those sessions over our email as well. So email marketing was a big part of that too. I don't think you necessarily need that many people joining that live. Of course, it grew, But it's more about just doing it, not looking at that, and having fun, and interviewing interesting people. And then we just shared the content over Instagram, the stories, and over our email marketing. So you actually can still look at all those recordings.
Okay. So much like you and I are doing right now, we're recording a podcast. We're not doing live, but the benefit, of course, is that you now have this piece of content that you're able to use over and over again in whatever way that you would like. Mm-hmm. Is there a time limit on how long an Instagram live can go, or can you go as long as you like?
I think you can go as long as you like. We always kept it to half an hour, and you can upload it on YouTube and then share it, and that content is there for you as long as you want.
And do you have to, hold your phone up in front of your face the whole time, or are you able to do this through the desktop? Like, how do you actually make it happen?
It is your phone, and you can buy one of those
little holders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's actually just doing it, because I wasn't a big fan, and I'm not an Instagram person, but it's just getting used to it and just talk like it's a conversation like we do now. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing.
Okay. Cool. So there's one tactic, folks, that you can take away. You should try an Instagram live. Don't worry about who shows up for the live part of it. Ideally, have someone that you're talking to, because the two-way conversations are much easier than monologues. That's why I host a show where I interview people, because I wouldn't want to have to come here and talk all by myself, because there's a lot more prep that goes into that than there is into this.